What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Season 7 of the MindShare Podcast. This is where we share strategies and insights to help you work smarter, build stronger relationships, and create the success that you deserve. This show is proudly sponsored by Kids Keep In Touch Systems, your ultimate marketing and lead generation CRM. REM, Real Estate Magazine, Canada's trusted source for real estate news and insights. And Revel Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing, cutting-edge training, and a culture that empowers success. Learn more about our sponsors and download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle at mindshare101.com. And while you're there, discover how our full range of services can help take your business to the next level. From one-to-one coaching for personalized growth, the MindShare Collective group coaching for community-driven success, momentum training to build unstoppable progress, and keynote speaking to inspire and motivate your team. We're here to help you elevate your game. And while you're at it, learn more about joining the revolution to experience the bold new way that real estate is being redefined. Today's episode is number 323, and we're diving into business, law, and life to help you balance success. She is the principal lawyer at Vantage Law. She holds an Honours Juris Doctor degree from Bond University, located in Gold Coast, Australia. She obtained her Bachelor of Arts from Wilfrid Laurier University, graduating in 2010 with a major in political science. Her experience also includes sitting on the board of directors for a mortgage investment corporation for over 2 years. As well, she has also acted as the executive editor of a magazine publication focused on issues related to mortgage brokers, agents, and the private lending sphere. She is a lawyer in good standing with the Law Society of Ontario and is a very popular choice here in the city of Toronto and beyond. Joining me on this episode of the MindShare Podcast is special guest, principal lawyer at Vantage Law, Alessandra Ocampo. Alessandra, welcome back to the MindShare Podcast.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Likewise. Now, to start us off, I know that people are seriously asking, they're like, and especially our regular listeners, Dave, why are we recording? And this is a live show, as everybody knows. So if you are listening to the audio, I thank you, but we do go live on a weekly basis. Why are we recording at 9 a.m. instead of the usual 1 p.m.? Well, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to say that somebody is going to the gold medal game in Boston tomorrow. And no, sadly, it is not me. Alessandra, who is going to win the game? Talk to us. This is important stuff right now.
We have to go cheer on our country. So I am heading over to Boston, and you have been so accommodating in changing our time so that I can get there to cheer us all on.
If there's anything that's going to get us to adjust schedules and really make musical chairs happen and everybody sort of, change things up, it's definitely a gold medal hockey game. So, I mean, if anybody's wondering, what's the top of the list reason that could possibly do that? Hockey is it's precedent, everybody. It's important stuff. Super excited for you. Super excited about that game.
Me too.
I should probably switch topics on that because I could probably talk about hockey all day long. No, seriously, it's been like an amazing tournament. Canada versus USA started off the other game when they played last time. 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
Incredible.
And I know a lot of people have these opinions about fighting in hockey. It is part of the game, everybody. Okay, I'm just saying it's part of the game. People were setting standards that day. They were laying down the line. You got 2 powerhouses. Anyways, see, I said I could just go on and on about this.
But I agree with that sentiment. It is a part of the sport.
It is. It is. It brings that level of grit, and I put out a post yesterday that I seen. I shared it, and it said something along the lines of NBA basketball players, they hurt their knee or something, and they need a few games off. They can't play back-to-back games because they hurt their knee.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, NHL hockey players, they go to war. They're willing to die just to get on that next shift. So
yeah.
And then as I talk about hockey, I think about baseball and the way the Jays messed up with Vlad Guerrero, and I'm very, very angry about that. But okay, we're going to change topics.
Okay, fair enough.
So tell us, you don't know, Who is Vantage Law?
Who is Vantage Law? Vantage Law is a real estate, private lending, corporate and commercial law firm located in Vaughan. What makes us really different? We are focused on client service. And I know we hear that all the time. Um, but we truly are different because most of us, including myself, come from a hospitality background. So everything that we've learned, our experience has brought to us in terms of hospitality. So, working in restaurants, working in hotels, working in travel, we've taken those skills and we've translated that to how we deal with clients. And over and above that, we just want law to feel, it's just normal for everybody. While, I remember to start the firm, a lot of people were just like, oh my gosh, I have to talk to a lawyer, and like really intimidated by the fact that, you're speaking to a lawyer. But we're just human beings. I just happen to do this as a job. And I never want anyone to feel like they are less than because I'm a lawyer and they're not, because that doesn't matter. That doesn't define us.
It's interesting, and I would go the distance here. I said I was going to get off the sports topic, but I'm going to go the distance and say, when you, like, ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about negotiation, you should know exactly what to say to me to get me to change this time. No, but I agree with the way you position that as well, around the sentiment about, and I mean, this takes us down that road of like authenticity, right? And being real and being true and the connections. And I want to talk more about that because I think that I know confidently that the way you go about things is a big part of the success that comes to you, that you attract. And anyways, we'll talk more about the way you go about things. But I just before we go there, so we're sort of like talking about who's Vantage Law and setting the stage for everybody. Should also mention, I believe you own the company with your husband.
Yes.
You guys started this together. What made you guys decide to start the company? Was it simply we wanted to help people? Was it the hospitality part that you came out of? Like, you're married, you do this thing. It's like, let's open up a law firm.
Yeah. So basically what happened was I stumbled across two individuals who were starting a mortgage investment corporation while I was serving at Joey's Sherway. And they basically were like, would you open up a real estate firm, law firm? Yeah.
So they knew you were going to law school.
They knew I was already called to the bar. So I was working at the restaurant after I was called as a lawyer. The reason why I did that strategically was to place myself in a position where I can network with people who are more sophisticated, higher net worth, people that I thought could help me get a job. So I would apply for jobs during the day, and then I would serve at night to connect with people and obviously make a little bit of money. Why not?
For sure.
And I've been doing that. I've been serving since I was in undergrad. So it's very natural to me. It wasn't a hard transition to get back into it. And so I did that in May 2017, and then went through my network of real estate lawyers and was like, can you help me learn? Because I didn't know anything about real estate law. And so these three individuals helped me learn. And then within 3 months, I was doing it by myself. And then shortly thereafter, my husband joined because it was just too busy. The deal flow was there. I obviously was learning, so things were a little bit slower. But it was a natural transition to have him join the team because he has the business sense that sometimes I lack. Mm-hmm. And he has the common sense to understand the business and how to make it run as smoothly as possible. So the two of us together, we understand where the lines are drawn. And we really just, work off of each other to make sure that the business flows and operates as smoothly as possible.
Something I pick out of all of what you just said there, and it's a learning moment for everybody that's tuned in right now. When we talk about an action step, and folks are always looking for this, secret, answer, this magic pill, this something, this elusive, like what's going to get me to that next level. And I will say through all my studies, and as I do that in my business, and I do a lot of reading, a lot of learning, I also for myself try to figure out what is that growth? Where does that come from? And beyond the hard work and beyond the commitment, the discipline, and I mean, everything that comes with it. You just mentioned networking with people. It was to connect with other people. And then you mentioned learning from people so that you could really get that start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, Alessandra, that I have also realized a lot of that, when you're trying to grow, it's you've got to learn. We know that you've got to learn. Now it's like, who can I learn from?
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of the history digging that I do in terms of, again, just like really like successful people, famous people, rich people, whatever, how did they get there? Because everybody's looking for that answer.
Yeah.
It typically comes back in a big way to like, they learned from somebody, they collaborated with people. So it's just, anyways, I picked that out as you were saying that. So when you decided to start the business, what was like the first thing that you did? Was it, lease office space, go find clients, start marketing? What were those, outside of obviously learning from others, what were those first few steps that were taken to kind of get you there?
So thankfully, because of those partners, I didn't have to worry about office space. I didn't have to worry about like setting up an email or anything like that. Literally, I remember the first week of joining or being with them, I went to my first event, my first mortgage event. And so I guess the start really was marketing, where I was just attending these events and becoming a face that hopefully becomes well known and connecting with people. So again, just stemming back to like that, just the people part of things and connection.
Yeah. See, again, it keeps coming back to a very similar spot, but it's an important point to make, because again, if you can't buy that, that's time, that's effort, right? That's connections. That's making the calls or having the conversations or going somewhere when you may not feel like it, but that's where it comes from, right? So was there, again, along the way, some big light bulb moment that happened for you where you thought, okay, like I've started this business and wow, I just realized like X. Anything specific that stands out along the way? Like, and I'm talking more in that starting stage perspective.
Yeah. So I think the light bulb moment was having my husband join. And then from there, everybody basically, whoever joined the team, they were people that were already in our life. So the second person to join was third, I guess, my sister-in-law. So she joined, and like, you can't buy loyalty. You can't buy trust. No. You can earn it over time. But when you have that connection, it's priceless. So we had her join. Now she's phenomenal. She is in charge of our accounting department. And then after that, it was one of my really good friends. So it was the people that we were adding to the team were ones that we could truly rely on and could trust wholeheartedly, that we knew that if I was out networking and I was out at an event, I was out doing whatever it is I had to do, meeting with clients, I could trust that things were moving smoothly, even if I wasn't physically there.
Like, go figure, family run business to some degree, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something that I don't know that a lot of people know that. But again, I think that there's something to say about that one, the dynamic that families able to work together, that's already a difficult thing to achieve.
Agreed.
You guys obviously have a very well-oiled machine, and naturally, like any business, whether it's with family, without family, and definitely more specific with family, I can certainly attest to that. There's a lot of other things. There's lines that get crossed sometimes, where everybody just feels more comfortable crossing those lines, where, like, typically speaking, you wouldn't. But at the same time, too, like you just said, it brings a level of trust. It brings a level of loyalty. It brings a level of we're on the same page. We're doing this together.
Yeah.
And there's something extremely strong about that. So your husband, sister-in-law, friend. I know there's a lot more people there. How many people have you got working at the company now?
We have just under 30, just over 30 people.
30 people, just over 30.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, this is a mix of lawyers, clerks, support staff,
Paralegals. Yeah.
dealing all sorts of stuff. So I guess specifically then, like, areas of law, where are you guys focused on a regular? What kind of services are you guys offering?
So we do residential and commercial real estate, corporate law, and private lending, which obviously stems from real estate as well.
Okay. And then there's I know you're always on the hunt for more. You're always trying to grow and do more. So I mean, where that goes and what else you guys offer down the line, I guess TBD.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
exciting. But I mean, I guess as a business owner, of course, it means that you're wearing a ton of different hats.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to do on a regular basis. We're focused on bringing in. I mean, we're focused on the bottom line at all times.
Yeah.
Focused on bringing in and servicing more business. What would you say is really that key to success? And I maybe we just alluded to that a little bit when we talked about networking and whatnot, but wanted to expand on that. I wanted to naturally talk about sort of the idea of like what we're doing to grow and how we're making that happen. So, what would you say is that key?
One of the biggest things for me is just remaining present, remaining top of the mind for partners, and making sure they know that we are actively here. We're here to support. And the way in which I approach these relationships, because Vantage Law is purely relationship and referral based, is just being authentic. And in being that, I'm not opposed to having a conversation with a realtor partner about a file that I'm not involved with. Like, there's some lawyers that they won't even have a conversation with you about something that they're not making money off of. Mm-hmm. While for me, I don't mind being the sounding board because you're like the client has chosen a different lawyer, it's gone a different route, but I want to develop that relationship for you to know and pretty much test my knowledge in terms of how I would treat that particular scenario. And then what I've found is that being available to start on files I'm not involved with these partners really gives me that credibility for me to, in the future, develop a relationship with them that will, be like help the bottom line. So it's like planting those seeds along the way. And developing not just a professional relationship, but a personal relationship, because having these conversations with them, you kind of get a feel for who they are as a person. And we can't forget that ever, because a lot of these referrals, it's dependent on whether or not they even like you. Do they want to talk to you? Do they cringe when you're calling? So if you don't connect on a personal level, a lot of times that's not going to translate to anything. And so I've also learned that, you can't take it to heart, because some personalities just don't match, which is fine.
Yeah, no, not everybody's for everybody. That's for sure, right? Yeah. Not everybody's for everybody. And that's okay. But the approach that you're taking is, I'd say, more visionary, more long-term in terms of looking ahead and saying, okay, we don't need to be officially signed together right now for me to even speak with you. In fact, I'm going to be here. I'm going to prove my value. And again, everybody listening, pay attention to these words, right? Because this is again, what we're doing right now is we're looking at a success story. We're diving in deeper to figure out what's actually happening. And, as we speak with Alessandra Ocampo, the principal lawyer of Vantage Law, about balancing business and life and law. I mean, there's so much going on out there. And as you look and think to yourself, what is it that I can do to grow my business, to get to that next place that I want to get to? A big part of it is just speaking with other people, networking with other people, and again, I happen to personally know you do that incredibly well. You spend a ton of time doing that on a regular basis, which naturally can at times be somewhat exhausting, but as well very, very rewarding. So let's talk about the building of the mindshare for a moment, and the steps that you take on that. I mean, as we talk about, marketing your business, I want to dive deeper into even how you guys are building that mind share. So if we look at, and I often say there are 7 ways to communicate. There are 2 audiences, the people we know, the people we don't know. And through those 7 ways to communicate, we really need to be leveraging all 7 ways to get out there to ensure that, we're not missing a channel. We are kind of present in different areas.
Yeah.
Again, you spend a lot of time with people in person. So can we dive a little deeper into that, even when we talk about the in-person channel for a moment? And then I want to break down some of the other channels. In person, what does that look like on a regular? Like when we say that, is this going out for a lot of one-to-ones? Is this going to events? Is this tell us more about that? Because as you say, I'm networking with people. They're not necessarily signed under contract. We're having conversations. I'm proving my value. We've got to remain present because just one conversation isn't going to do it.
Yeah.
But being there and having the opportunity to have the conversation is what sparks it. Tell us more about that when it comes to the marketing. Like, I guess from an in-person perspective to start with, like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So in person, it is a lot of one-on-ones.
Okay.
Because there's so many people, it does tend to be like, many times I've only seen them maybe once a year, and then hopefully running into them in in-person events. So I do try to go to conferences and things like that, because it does allow for me to see more than one referral partner at one time.
Okay.
So that's more strategic. Obviously, the amount of time I'm spending with them is less. But again, it's about being top of the mind and reminding them that I do exist. And Vantage is here.
Mind share.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. So that, and then we do a lot of gifting. So with our gifting, maybe it isn't me delivering it to them, but they are remembering that Vantage is here. And, it's our little token of appreciation to say thank you for being a partner. And really, who doesn't like getting some treats? Like Valentine's Day just happened. It was like some Hershey's kisses and, some chocolate. So those are the things that we do in person. And then I also go on a lot of these trips. So we've talked about this, where I go on these top performer trips with brokerages to develop that more personal relationship, because interacting with someone who's on vacation versus someone that's in the office is so different. And that has always been really fruitful in terms of just building that relationship to a point where it's just so concrete that you are so confident in it, and like you're putting basically like a fence around it. So that's been good too.
Okay. So getting together with people one-on-one.
Yep.
Scheduling time to do that. Scheduling time to be at conferences and events where you can walk around. We use the term shake hands, kiss babies kind of thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea of being there, being present, talking to people. And then there's also the, getting together with let's say brokerages or groups at a time where you can be present, but do it in a way where it's not necessarily a business perspective, but it's more over a little bit more social with a business twist on it.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So getting together a lot in person with people. Would you say that there's the main driver again of really where a lot or most or all of the business comes from?
I would say so. I think that I am my own, I am Vantage Law's business development manager. I'm the one.
Would agree.
Yeah. So it's purely based on the relationships that I've built. Obviously, I like the other lawyers have their own partners, which, personality wise, they do it a little differently, but it works for them. And yeah, so that would be like the main driver of it. So obviously that all takes a lot of time, but it has been rewarding.
Do you spend a lot of time on the phone?
Actually, not so much. It's just the emails.
Okay.
Because everybody just wants quick answers, right? So not too much time on the phone. lately.
What about
Yeah.
text? Do people really leverage the text, or is it a lot?
Yes.
Just yeah. So a lot of
Yes.
like a lot of messaging happening.
Yes. A
Not as
lot of
many
messaging.
phone calls necessarily.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then email. I know you guys have an email newsletter. There's a lot that goes out there.
Yeah.
That goes out a regular. And then when you say about the gifting, is this something that is done? And I asked this specifically, is this something that you guys mail out, or is it a lot of like, again, hand delivery where it's
So it depends on where people live, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
Because we have referral partners like out in London, out in Sarnia, out in like Muskoka, like they're literally everywhere. So it's really dependent on where they are. And it's a lot of, we prefer it being hand delivered by somebody, but obviously it's dependent on where they're located.
Yeah, fair. And what about social media as like you know, as a like online channels as a big driver, looking at, finding new business? Is there more focus on connecting with people online than offline? Is it a mix of both? I mean, I know I watch what your social team puts together, and it's a ton of fun. There's a lot of just like fun stuff happening. It's so, I don't want to say random, like it's so open to just more, I guess, more illustrating the culture that you have internally more than anything. Like it's not like a, and I mean, maybe it happens every once in a while, but like here's a law tip, and here's another law tip, and here's another law tip. It's actually not related to that. It's a lot more like, look who we are. We're a lot of fun. We got a great group over here.
Yeah, and we're really proud of our culture because I don't have any turnover, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only people that leave are because they're literally moving somewhere far, or they have to go back to school. Other than that, nobody's leaving because our culture is so strong. With respect to the social media, I think we just want people to know that we are a good time. We don't take it so seriously, but obviously we are getting the job done. And I feel like with social media for us, it's more so a credibility piece, where if a referral partner refers us to a client, the client can then see that we are real, we are active, we do exist, we are real people, and that then solidifies the fact that they'll come to us, or they'll agree to use Vantage Law as their lawyer partner. So I don't necessarily think that we get business from it. But I do just think that it adds that credibility.
Yeah. Well, listen, again, it's I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday, specifically speaking to the social media channels.
Yeah.
And, to everybody, again, it's the same message here, but for anybody that's reluctant to leverage social media in today's world, in the, to make it a mainstay channel to anything that you do, this is, I take this back to like a conversation somebody had with me about AI about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And they said, if you're not going to embrace AI, it's like not embracing the wheel. Where would people be today? And I thought, okay. And you look at social media the same way, right? I mean, we can do some wonderful things when we're in person, going out to network, etc. But much the same. Like if you look at like the weather out there right now, and you go, depending on where you are, obviously, but here in Toronto, it hasn't stopped snowing for like 6 weeks. It makes it more difficult for people to get around and go out and do things because of traffic and whatever else. So having the ability to get online and connect with other people is a great tool. It's a great asset to have. In the same breath, saying, I will always come back to in person is always going to be your gold.
Of course.
Right? But leverage the social media channels as well. So okay, let's look at this then. So we've talked about Vantage. We've explored it as a business, how it started, what's the structure, what you guys offer. We've looked at some of the marketing channels. What would you say has been, one of the biggest challenges, right? Like you've been consistent about growing. We know that. Like it continues to grow. You continue to do well. But with growth in any business comes additional challenges. What would you say is one of those biggest challenges that you face as an owner right now?
I would say um, just basically maintaining these referral partners, because really the biggest challenge with running a business is whether or not you have enough time to get these things done. So with that, it's like being able to properly prioritize this versus that, life versus going out to see somebody, or just assessing whether or not it's fruitful. And I think that since I had my son, that has been the biggest challenge in terms of just remembering that I only have 24 hours in the day. So how am I going to divvy that up between what is important? And obviously the business is important, but also obviously my son and my family is as well. Yeah. So I think that's been the biggest challenge for me. And you and I have had this conversation many times. Delegation was a real struggle for me to delegate to my team, who are they're totally capable of doing everything. But because I'm inherently a control freak, it was hard to like relinquish certain things to then allow me to do just to focus myself differently. So with all of that, those have been like real challenges. And I feel like it's just a time thing. And I think most business owners feel that way too.
Oh, I would double down and say I would 100 times down on that one. I mean, that really does always come back to it. I know a lot of people tuned in right now are like nodding their heads like, yeah, I feel the same way, right? Like it's so much. How old's your little guy, by the way?
3.5.
Oh my God. So hands completely full. Like I look back to Joshua and Leah. Like Josh is about to turn 14 in less than like 3 weeks or something. Leah is going on, I mean, she's 12 going on like 22 or something like that. It's kind of crazy, right? But it's or she's 11, pardon me, going on 20, whatever. But it's like how fast they're moving, but they're very, to a degree, self-sufficient at this point. With a 3.5-year-old, talk about time. You want to spend as much time as you possibly can with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, I also need to get stuff done. And then when we talk to, the whole idea of how your business, there's a lot of messaging going on.
Yes.
It's very simple to have our heads down buried in these things, but have to understand, hey, when I'm with them, I want him to know I'm with them. And it's like, he's getting to a point now where he's very cognizant of mom, dad, time, focus. And of course, at 3.5 years old, what an awesome, awesome age.
Yeah, it's a good time, but he's at the point where he's like, "Mom, no phone, no phone." So
yeah, see,
he's aware of it already. So that has been a challenge, but I think I've been managing it better. He is in Montessori, so the strategy is just like booking things in between 9 and 3:30. And then, if things spill over, things spill over. But for the most part, like my time is then, and then after he goes to bed.
It's amazing how some characteristics of successful people really come back to the ability to empower time to manage them, and that real desire, not always completely effective, but the desire to have a work-life balance and be able to actually dedicate time to family. Like it's, I saw a post the other day, and again, here we go back to hockey, sports even, but it was like, if you've had time to be at your kids' sports and their games and their practices, and like you're at all that stuff, you are very, very successful.
Yeah.
And just the ability to spend time with the people that matter most in life, and just call it what it is, family. Being able to have that time is huge. So now, not only a mom, but you also collaborate on other lines of business. What else have you got going on that we want to share with people?
Yeah, so I also am a co-owner of Piccolo, which is a kids cafe play place event space, which is also in Vaughan. And my partners are my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law. And the goal there was to create a space for parents and children alike, because I'm sure you've been to these places, these play places that are like McDonald's, Ronald McDonald, blue, yellow, red, just like overstimulated and not particularly clean is how I feel of those
Fair.
places. And so we took all of those things that we didn't like and we were like, let's create something that we would want to take our children to. And remember that these experiences in, a play place isn't just for the child, it's also for the parent. So now we've created this space, very Instagram worthy, soft colors, clean lines, so the parent can literally sit and see the child wherever they want, and like super clean. So now, thankfully, that it's built and running, I'm more of a silent partner. My husband and I are more silent partners. But to start that pretty much build out, because we did build it entirely, it was a huge endeavor, from design to branding to construction to picking materials to staffing. All of those things were they took up a lot of our time, but thankfully now it's been open since I would say September of last year. It's self-sufficient. We just check in every other month, and my sister's doing a great job of running it day to day.
Very awesome, eh? And it's amazing how that word time keeps coming back. Now it's funny as you bring up like, going in there is for the parents as well. Like I remember it. I don't go to these places anymore. Actually, I was at one recently for my nephew's birthday. Walked in, it was some like glow in the dark kind of soccer place or something. And I went in there and there was about like 30 screaming like 4-year-olds. And I looked at my sister and I picked up my daughter who was there to help for a little bit. I'm like, we're out. I'm not sticking around this place forever, but I remember these places, right? But I get what you're saying about that. And like more specifically where I bring it up is there's another line of business. There's another to do that is, asking for your time. And again, there comes that balance. Now, for anybody that believes, I don't have enough time, or I just can't do it, or it's not possible, there's just too much going on. The reality is when you, again, leverage time the right way, there's a lot of things that you can make happen. And it doesn't mean that you need to be the primary in every single line of business or every endeavor that you take on.
Yeah.
Right. Now, just recently off the top of the year, again, as we talk about time and we talk about like other things that you were up to, you recently off the top of the year, you launched your brand new personal brand, which quite frankly, I believe has been evolving incredibly well over the past number of years.
Thank you.
Curious to know, what was the purpose behind why you decided to, again, go, I'm just going to start yet another venture here under the sort of Alessandra O kind of name. Tell us about that. Tell us about the brand. Tell us about the purpose specifically, because and I guess I'll set that stage too. Sorry, ask you a question and totally cut you off here. A lot of folks wonder if they should start a brand. Why should they start a brand? People think that the brand is about a set of colors. It's about a logo. It's like, oh, I've got a new logo and a new color scheme. But it is so much bigger than that. What was the purpose as to why you decided to go down this road?
The absolute truth is I kind of felt bored. I kind of felt like I needed something new. I actually needed to do something that was completely out of the box. And as much as I'm on social media, just like everybody else, forcing me to post photos of myself, certain messaging that I would be comfortable with, like sharing with somebody one-on-one, but then to put it out there on a platform, that in itself was a lot for me to step out of, my comfort zone and do something different. The main purpose behind it was really to open myself up to more opportunities, whether if that was partnering with another lawyer in getting into a different area of law, whether it's a new business, whether it is charity work, where now I'm a part of the board of directors for a foundation. where I'm able to give back and not just do the whole, business. Like, not everything is about making money, right? So it was just a matter of what opportunities could come, let me assess whether or not that aligns with what I can and cannot do, and see who I can help along the way, because I really do believe in growing with people that I can trust and that I know, and helping them get to wherever it is that they want. Because I've been very lucky in terms of all the success that I've had, and I didn't do it by myself. So I don't want to forget that there's other people that, may be in a similar position, but just need a little bit of help, whether that's just being motivational to help them get that confidence to get started, whether it's some sort of investment financially or time wise. It's just like any little things that I can do to help people. I want to. I genuinely want to. Like, I'm going to give you an example. My personal assistant, she just started her side hustle, which is like a photo booth and other like party props and stuff. So now what I've been doing for my partners who ask for some sort of sponsorship, I choose to, if obviously it makes sense, I choose her as my sponsorship to their event, to add to their event. So I'm basically, it's two birds, one stone. I'm helping my assistant who's been with me for like 3 or 4 years, who I trust wholeheartedly. And then I'm also able to give to my partners. So that really was the driving force with the personal brand, where let's grow together. And I truly do believe that.
Again, see how you just went full circle right off from the top of the show there, of like the connection point, and starting with the starting Vantage Law and the connection with other people, and like learning from people and connecting together. I mean, again, I keep emphasizing this today. I think it's a great message, but it's so much about connecting with other people.
Yeah.
That's where things come from. And all too often, I mean, this is where I've got such a bone to pick with all of this online lead generation stuff. I'm not suggesting that there's not other people on the other end. The thing is, we don't know where those people are. We don't know who those people are. The realities are there's a lot of fake bots out there.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to technology, the ability to play tricks on people, it's just there. I mean, we see spam emails come in. I get spam emails from me, right? Like, they're titled with my name.
Yeah.
And you're selling whatever, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay. And we've gotten to a point where I'm like, yeah, whatever, just delete, right? As opposed to, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, my entire email list is going to receive this spam email from you. It's just part of what happens. Everybody kind of just accepts it these days. And the same thing, like, you look at folks that are on social media in some cases, and they've got these big follower accounts, and you're looking at the followers, you're like, wow, they're so popular.
Yeah.
When you dig in and you dive in deeper, there are a lot of fake accounts out there.
Yep.
So you come back to this idea of growth and online lead generation and connection points with people. Again, it's all very possible. There are great ways that we talk about social media to connect with real people, to connect with people to be connected with people that you'd like to know from people like that is all very real.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot out there as well that is not real. So when you come back to the offline, the in-person avenues, and making these connections with partners and helping out your assistant and you partnering in other businesses, these are real people connecting with real people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where real opportunities continue to come from.
Yeah.
And it's a real important point to share with folks, because again, that's what makes it grow. So you started this brand, launched it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now.
Yeah, probably around there.
Right. And I mean, people are, I see the reviews coming through and the comments from people. And again, it's all nice. It's all good stuff and great feedback. It's about the opportunities really that it creates for you, and that you are able to create for others.
Exactly.
Was the real main purpose.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, hey, with all that said, anybody that is tuned in that's thinking, hey, I've got this idea, or I want to collaborate, or I'm looking for a partner. I guess, maybe reaching out to you might be a good idea.
I would
right?
love to. Yeah. I'd love
Right?
to. It's also a matter of just like building these relationships, because I like to hear people's stories. I can't go through every single scenario and every like that anybody has ever gone through. So why not share these, like, just storytelling? Tell me what it took for you to get to where you are and where you see yourself. And honestly, it gets me thinking by meeting with these people about my own life. Like, um, I don't know if I'm allowed to plug you in, but I've been working with you as a coach for a year now. And the reason why that was even triggered was because I was speaking to a realtor partner who was like, what are your goals? And I had no answer because I didn't know. And then I was like, okay, well, I need some guidance. And you and I have always, connected. So it was a natural fit. So I reach out to you, and now we've been working together. And honestly, like, I look forward to those chats because it allows for me to really think about what's going on. The way in which your coaching is, it works for me. You make me think about things that I wouldn't think about otherwise. And it's just been really fruitful for me for the last year. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but basically,
listen, wherever you went with that, I think it was fantastic. I mean, it was like, no, thank you for sharing that. Certainly, you're certainly allowed to plug that. Moreover, though, the reality is there's been a lot of incredible collaboration, great conversation together. It really is a sense of brainstorming. Poking, provoking, asking difficult questions, working through difficult situations. And again, though, when we go full circle, this comes back to people dealing with people.
Yeah.
Right. And truly caring about what it is that you're doing. There are a lot of people in this industry, and specific to, let's say, the industry, that are constantly chasing the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I've learned in my time is you can be out there chasing the dollar. You can be out there chasing, that success, that financial success. And I believe, yes, deep down, we all have that, and you've got to have that need. However, one of the biggest learning moments I've had is that if we can help people get what they want, we will get what we want.
Exactly. I believe in that.
Well, there's where the brand, the new branding, even. I mean, this, to me, and I know this, that's at the core of who you are.
Yeah.
Moreover, that's a big part of the new branding, right? Is like that ability to be there, be a resource, help somebody, have a simple conversation. Let's see if stories align. Let's see if mindsets align. Let's see if there's something here to do. And again, it comes back to connecting with other people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, congrats on the launch of the brand. I think it looks, it looks fantastic. I know the feedback's been amazing, and I have no doubt it's going to continue to propel you to like that next level. Now, speaking of, you mentioned, and just briefly here, but you're on the board of directors of a foundation.
Yeah.
Put on another hat, Alessandra. Sure, go ahead. Yeah. What is the foundation? Just briefly there.
It's called Integrity Tree Foundation, and it's actually just been created. So we're having our first event. It's a golf tournament. The charity that we've chosen for this particular event is Breakfast for Kids, I believe, off the top of my head. And so basically, just to assist people, the kids in the area, in just like, the basic necessities of breakfast. And it's like, now, not that I didn't feel for children, but now that I have a child, it really strikes me even more, where why not help these people? And like, life is hard, life is expensive. People can't, make ends meet. Mortgages are insane. Rent is insane. Everything, right? So
a head of lettuce is like $8 apparently.
Exactly. So it's like,
I say apparently because I don't go to the grocery store.
Fair enough. So all of those things, it's like, why can't we give back? And with the foundation, really what I'm doing to support, it's my time. And obviously for the golf tournament, like Vantage Law will sponsor financially, but it just like, why not give back if you can?
There comes again, helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, look, why not give back? You know how many times I hear from people, they're like, oh, well, I don't have the time, or like, what's that going to do for me? Wrong mindset.
Yeah. And what
where
we
your head is
like,
at.
what you and I have always talked about, it's just about like prioritizing and blocking out time for certain things.
Oh my God.
We have the same 24 hours. You choose to do something different with it. So you can accomplish anything you want. That's what it's
so true. So, well, here, as you talk about work-life balance, obviously there's a heavy emphasis on the scheduling.
Yes.
And
very heavy.
the stern.
Very, yeah.
Right. Like it's got to be rigid.
It has to. Yeah.
Right. And when things need to change, or when things need to be done, things need to be done. It's just, again, I think that's such a common issue that there is in so many people's, so many business owners' minds. It's like, I don't have time to do, or, oh my God, there's too much to do. And again, I have to just take a moment to emphasize the importance of the schedule. You know, people don't put enough emphasis on it. And look, I'm also going to say to everybody, and this is very transparent about this, okay? For as rigid as I am on my schedule, and as much as I really talk about this is a big part of what we talk about with MindShare 101 on the podcast, through our content, on stages, with our clients. It helps streamline what needs to happen in a day. It helps keep on track. It doesn't mean that there is no, I hate using the word anxiety. It sounds so negative, or panic. Like, it's not that, but it's like I've got to watch the clock. I've got to know that I'm moving. I've got to know that, like, I've got to be prepared for the next thing. And that in of itself brings a little bit of like, oh, I gotta stay on track here. To me, it's a matter of focus. It's a matter of discipline. It's a matter of effort. When you do these things, though, and you are proof right here today through this conversation, how much you can accomplish. I mean, I often say I get more done in a day than most people do in a week. And again, I always say I'm not because I'm better or smarter. I'm just disciplined. Yes. And you very much same thing. And this is where the opportunities come from, right? So again, so go for it.
No, there's no way I would get what I get done in a day if it wasn't for that time blocking, that prioritizing, and just like keeping a track of what needs to be done, and really consciously being present to assess what needs my attention right away. While I feel like years ago I thought everything was urgent, when really there's so many things that you assess as urgent that really isn't. A lot of things can wait. Obviously, as a lawyer, there are certain things that need my attention immediately, but that's not every single day. And it's just a matter of assessing that properly.
I put out a video earlier this week, and it was a thought that came to mind the other day. No joke, walking over to my mailbox to check the mail. Okay. Went to the mailbox, checked the mail, grabbed the mail, went back in the house, put it down on the desk, kind of glanced at what was there. Didn't open everything immediately. Didn't deal with it immediately.
Okay.
And then realized not only did I not deal with it immediately, but I didn't go back to the mailbox again that day. Now think about your email, think about your social media. And this is to you, this is to me, this is to everybody. I'm saying this right now. Think about your social media. Think about the direct messages. Think about everything that comes through, all the notifications on the phone. And how many times a day we check those, and then how many times a day we go and respond to those. And again, there's going to be certain parts of your day where you should be taking the time to respond to this stuff. Much the same, it should be structured and scheduled, because if it's not, then you end up being on everybody else's time. You end up being reactive to your day. You end up saying to yourself, I didn't have enough time today. But when you think back to the mailbox, I went once that day.
Yeah.
I did not respond immediately to that stuff.
Yeah.
And even if I did, and I was like, okay, I'll write the letter back, or I'll put it back in the mail, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not immediate.
No.
Whereas
and the world kept going.
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
So just anyways, to what you just said about like understanding the priorities and like what needs to be handled, or what can kind of wait. Not everything is this major priority. It's a huge light bulb moment. Say, wow, yeah, hold on a second. I don't need to deal with that the second that it came in. I need to be in control of what I want. And that goes back to where you brought up the word goals. That's really what it is. This is how we achieve.
Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time to get there. I used to think that all of my to-do lists had to be completed that day, but that's just not humanly possible. So it was that acceptance. It's, I had to get to that point where I was like, okay, this isn't going to happen. These things can flow over, and it's naturally going to happen. So it did take a while to get to that point.
Oh, and I would argue, for me, as much as I talk about it, preach about it, emphasize it, it's a work in progress every day. You're constantly learning, you're constantly shifting. You talked about delegation. We talk about delegation a lot, right? It's okay. I can't do it all. I just can't.
Yeah.
So as we talk, I just brought up that word goals. I guess as we look ahead, anything we can share about long-term goals for Vantage Law? How does your personal brand play into that vision? Just anything sort of, exciting. I mean, I know there's always more exciting coming down the pipe, like that hockey game that you're going to, but that's different.
What does the future hold? The future, I would say, holds some growth with Vantage Law, whether that's in a different province or different areas of law. We'll see who the right fit is for that. With my personal branding, I hope that I am involved in the growth and success of more people, whatever that means, whether that means more piccolos, like kids cafes, whether that means a med spa, whether that means a photo booth company. I don't know. I'm okay with that, and I'm open to anything, really. Just basically seeing where things go.
Well, it certainly sounds exciting. It sounds ambitious, but it also spells out success. Now, as we talk about success, as you finish up, the million hats that you wear in a day, and you've gone through your entire day, and you've really, attacked it and taken it on and won the day. As the day shuts down for you and you're about to lay your head down at night, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
I would say it would just have to be a day where I am able to prioritize family and work. Because as much as Vantage Law obviously takes care of my family financially, I want to spend that time with my family and kind of reaping the benefits of, working so hard the first few years, and, be like, I was at a baby shower and I had to take like 3 calls on Monday, on family day, work calls. And it was fine. My son was distracted. That's fine. But it's like being able to prioritize all of those things. And I do believe you can have it all. I think that, and at the end of the day, if I feel like I have had a little bit of everything, then I think that that's definitely successful.
Cool. And I know you use the word help a lot throughout today's episode about working with others. And again, that's a major part of what your day looks like. So what would you say to anybody then who says, I can't do it? Like you just mentioned, I believe we could have it all. And again, we talked about the many hats. What would you say if somebody says they can't do it? What's your message to anybody?
I would say, why do you think you can't do it? Like, what is holding you back? Because, okay, it could be as simple as confidence, but why are you not confident in that? Or what do you think is hindering you from being successful? And a lot of times it's a matter of figuring out what makes the most sense for you. I know that, some people try to mimic what I do in terms of like the gifting or the relationship building or the sponsorships, whatever it is. And it's just not the same because it's not authentic to them. People really need to make an assessment of themselves, and just figure out how to be. If you really, really want it, you'll figure it out. I believe that too.
I like that. Where could people find you? How could they connect with you if they want to connect?
I am very active on Instagram, Alessandra0H. That's my personal Instagram. And then we have at Vantage Law _. We also have a Vantage Law TikTok, which is growing.
That's
And
awesome.
again,
It's awesome.
we're just having a good time. We're doing a lot of, I guess, like lifestyle work version, just to showcase our culture, because we're very proud of that.
Well, I encourage everybody to definitely connect, follow on Instagram, follow on TikTok. The TikTok is funny. Definitely, follow Alessandra, both from Vantage and, personally. There's some great stuff out there. And, again, I encourage everybody, as I've gotten to know you, very professional at what you do. You take it very seriously. You're also deep down just a really awesome person. And that's a huge thing that creates massive connection for people, and the desire that you've got to help others, which again, I know you deeply, deeply really believe in that. A testament to your success, so congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Just before we sign off, any final words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody as we close out today? Just any last words there?
I would say always just go for it. If you think that you can, why not? Why not give it a shot?
Love that. Great messaging. Alessandra, this has been absolutely fantastic. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh my God, absolutely. I love watching all the success that you're having and the ambition that you bring to it all, and just the desire to win. And it's infectious with other people. So, keep doing you, because it's definitely working. And please bring all of that success to Boston tomorrow night, because we need a big gold medal. This is a massive, massive hockey game. I will be watching. I will be, I'm already getting nervous, but
don't be nervous.
We got this.
Don't be nervous. We got this.
Go Canada.
Go Canada.
Alessandra, big thank you. Safe travels out there. And we'll talk to you very shortly.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet. You've been listening to the MindShare Podcast, whether it's on one of your favorite podcast platforms or directly from my website at mindshare101.com. While you are there, explore how our full range of services, from one-to-one coaching, the MindShare Collective group coaching, momentum training, and keynote speaking, will take your business to the next level. Don't forget to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle so that you can build more mindshare and earn more market share, as well as learn more about joining the revolution. For inquiries, just get in touch with me, get in touch with my team, send us a DM, an email, calls, whatever it is. Definitely get in touch. And of course, if you enjoyed the show, we'd ask you kindly, please leave a review for us at www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Again, some nice comments, a big 5 stars. It means a lot. It really does. And I thank you sincerely for doing so. Also, if we haven't yet, let's connect on Facebook. Let's connect on TikTok at MindShare101, and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. Need to take a quick moment to say thank you, a big thank you to Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Real Estate Magazine, and Revel Realty for their continued support as sponsors of this show. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.